Welcome to the League of Legends Edmonton Open. We're here hosted by OverKlocked Gaming. We got into our first game of the day in Champion Select. First couple bands coming through as we pick our first pick order. Senna coming through as their primary, pick, chosen by the blue side.
And then Zyrakon coming in for the red side. It does look like that is a Senna support coming in from the blue side.
Senna support followed by possibly Kaisa pick. Interesting bans that we actually had today. Saiyan seems to be a Ornn one-trick, or whatever they decide they want it to be, but they ended up banning it away, which is quite surprising. Did think it was going to be a contested pick, but I did not think it was going to be a priority ban for the red side.
Yeah, Ornn definitely being one of the stronger picks with the meta right now, being able to be flexed into a couple different roles. With it being a contested pick, maybe they just weren't confident with not being able to first pick that Ornn.
So we have an Olaf that came through the jungle. That's very high priority for Rift Heralds, Dragons early on. These early skirmishes that teams are loving nowadays. And Tristana coming through. Assuming that is Buddies, in fact, because he is the mid laner and plays a lot of Tristana overall.
Yeah, being an AD carry swapped into the mid lane for this tournament. Didn't expect him to play Tristana mid, but he does what he does.
Pull out the Pocket Pick early. And second phase of bans are coming through. Banning out the Maokai, probably to make sure that the top laner is not picking too much CC. Elise coming through.
Yeah, at least one of those high-octane junglers, always looking to impact the map early, has pretty good self-sufficient clear. Not too sure how that works into the Olaf. Once it hits around level 6, Olaf can't really be stopped.
For sure. The Olaf definitely does have a tempo advantage post-6 on the Elise, but pre-6, Elise does have a slight advantage on the Olaf.
And there we see the Veigar and Karthus taken away as the final bans.
I'm actually a huge fan of the Karthus ban here, just because Karthus can just basically mitigate the early game and just farm it out to be an extreme powerhouse, especially versus the super squishy comp that the blue side has drafted here today.
Yeah, and it looks like that will be an Echo for the for the jungle, sorry.
Very snowbally jungler. If he can get ahead, I'd be very afraid for the blue side.
Yeah, Echo, one of those junglers that is extremely difficult to get rid of, and he'll just stick to a target and will not let up.
Cho'Gath coming through. Kind of curious to see if it's going to be probably a top lane Cho'Gath, right?
Nope, it looks like it will be mid lane.
So expecting to see Glacial Augment as its primary rune.
Yeah, most likely. Definitely a strong pick into the likes of the Echo, where he can silence him to, you know, deny that ultimate, deny the stick of Echo, and just constantly peel for his own team.
Very true. The red team has drafted a very elusive comp, where it's very hard to pin them down. Xayah, Tristana, very defensive AD carries, very strong in their own rights. But on the blue side, we also have a very late game. We have late game menaces such as Jax, and a very strong objective control. Very strong. We have two very strong team fight teams.
Yeah, the one issue I'm already noting on the red side's comp, if Echo does fall behind, they are almost all attack damage. So that would make it a lot easier for Olaf to build something like a Randuin's, Cho'Gath to build something like a Righteous Glory or a Deadman's, and it'll be extremely hard to take them down.
Very true. I think that red side definitely drafted a stronger teamfight comp, which is probably a lot easier to pull off than what the blue side has pulled. They have a very strong 1-3-1 or 1-4 if that's what they wish to do, but that also requires a lot more communication throughout the team, with a lot more giving what they need to give to become strong in that side lane.
Yeah, red side does have very good scaling with 2 AD carries as well as a Shen to keep them alive in that backline. But on the side of the blue side, they do have an Olaf to just run them down. So they don't exactly have too much peel for that Olaf other than the Shen ultimate, due to the fact that Rakan can't exactly charm the Olaf when he uses Ragnarok.
Another thing I'm slightly worried about is blue side doesn't have very much engage. So if they do fall behind, or even if they get ahead, I feel like the red side can just slowly play it out. Not exactly poke it out, because they don't exactly have that kind of comp, but definitely they do not have the engage that they probably want to have with an Olaf.
Yeah, the primary engage that they really have is Senna throwing out that tangle and making sure that she can try rooting multiple people, as well as the Jack's flank. So it's going to really come down to vision control.
Vision control on the side flanks for sure, as well as vision control around the objectives going into them. I'm looking to see like early Rift Herald coming through for the blue side at least. They seem to have a stronger early game, so I want them to kind of abuse that, especially with a Senna who can ult across the map. But the red side also does have a Shen. We have to keep that in mind as well going into the game. Both teams have globals.
Yeah. With the blue side, though, they do have a lot stronger of a top half matchup with that Jax Olaf into Shen Echo. So we'll have to see how that one plays out.
Definitely looking forward to seeing how the mid to top side of the map plays out, as bot lane's looking kind of like it's going to be a farm lane.
Yeah, the only pressure that the bot lane has is that Zyra Khan early, looking for that grand entrance into a feather route. But with Ezreal Senna, it's extremely hard to lock them down. So that will most likely be just a poke and farm lane. Mid lane, though, Cho'Gath does have a bit of a hard time shoving in a Tristana due to the bomb constantly pushing the waves. So we'll have to see how this Cho'Gath reacts to that.
I'm also curious to see how the Tristana is going to shove and use the shove and roam gameplay, since she does have wave clear advantage over the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, what I would like to see is to have Echo and Tristana push that mid wave with Tristana and then invade onto the Olaf in a 2v1 situation, especially if Shen has his ultimate. That could result in an early pick, which then will also transition into more of that mid-game push.
For sure, and that would also help them scale tremendously into the late game, which their comp seems to scale quite well.
Yeah, the way they drafted it, definitely it looks like they do have more of a late game insurance policy, but then Cho'Gath does constantly scale with that ultimate and will be quite difficult to take out.
I guess one thing that we did brush over was the fact that Cho'Gath is probably going to be going Glacial Augment here, and that's probably going to be their engage policy.
Yeah, he did go Glacial. The rune matchups look fairly standard across the board.
Double Glacial for the blue team. The Senna, that's quite normal though.
Yeah, looking to slow people down when she goes for those autos that do take quite a while, but do pack quite the punch when they do land.
Out onto the rift, and we're just gonna that. Both teams running straight down mid, as we see blue side peeling off to the left, and the red side going for a more 5-point defensive style.
Yeah, they're looking for an invade, but Saiyan Trunks does catch them out, denying that invade attempt.
Both teams kind of just spreading out to their lanes now. Senna Ezreal going bot. Red actually looking for a late invade. I say late, but we're still under a minute into the game.
Yeah, just looking to get that deep vision down, try to spot out where Olaf is going to be pathing, try and deny as much of that early pressure as they can, and hopefully try to mitigate any impact that he has.
For sure. And we're also looking at Jax sitting in the tri-bush up top there. I don't know what he's trying to get done. He is spotted out by the ward, and it looks like this is going to be standard start. Olaf starting red, and the Echo starting blue.
Yeah, not looking for any of that vertical clear, just looking to path towards their top side, look to impact that lane as much as possible, and try getting that pressure towards the Herald.
Olaf has the clear advantage in this matchup. He's definitely going to be... I'm going to be looking towards him to impact the top lane first. Echo, slower clear. He is slightly healthier with his clear, however. Olaf getting very low with his clear, but can clear quite quickly.
Yeah, due to that passive giving him extra attack speed, the lower HP that he gets does help with his clear. He does have built-in lifesteal, and there we see the Counter-Strike in top lane just little trades coming in here in the bot lane. Grand entrance going for a huge trade there, and that was actually quite well played by the red side.
Just small trades going down. It seems like they traded back quite well into the Rakan there overall. Matching skins for the bot lane, that does give them plus 10 to their attack damage stat. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Not too sure. Never worked for me that way.
Very true. Top lane, level 2 on the Jax, level 1 onto the Shen. Quick trades.
Yeah, the Shen's going to definitely be struggling in this matchup. The only real save point that he has is that Spirit's Refuge to deny the auto attacks from Jax, but it only lasts so long.
Shen's goal in this lane should really just be to survive to level 6 and then look to impact the map, whereas the Echo probably should be focusing mid, and yeah.
Yeah, Shen just has to deny as much pressure as possible, try farming it out, and bot lane getting quite low there for the Rakan.
Very much so. The Rakan seems to be pushed out of lane and might be actually forced to back very early on in the game.
Yeah, with the sustain advantage coming in from the blue side's bot lane, it'll be quite difficult to actually win this matchup in terms of pressure.
Jax going in, getting a little bit of a trade, gets Shen quite low, but isn't able to quite finish off the kill or like continue the trade.
Yeah, Olaf is hovering around that top river, looking to make some sort of impact. Might invade the jungle here and spot out that most of the jungle's cleared, so we'll have the information that Echo is bot side.
Echo hovering bot side. Looks like the mid and jungle are roaming down. Like we were saying before, that wave clear really coming in handy to help get that mid shoved so that they can roam. Looks like Seneth blew her flash. The Echo is engaging with his stun W, and they get the first blood onto the Xayah, which is very, very good for what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that was a really good roam there by the Tristana. Doesn't even lose that much CS, only down by 2 now, which is actually quite a good scenario.
Looks like they're re-engaging on the bot lane. Echo going for the dive, not getting anything just yet, but I believe the flash was just blown for the Ezreal, which is actually quite big.
Yeah, that opens up the red side to actually push pressure towards that bottom side, and if they so choose, they can pressure this dragon early and try taking plating.
This is actually a huge advantage for the red side bot lane, as they're going to be able to shove this wave into tower, get it to crash. The Ezreal's going to lose all this experience, and they're going to be able to get a favorable back off. You're going to set them ahead quite a good bit in this lane.
Yeah, the BF sword coming in there quite early for the Xayah is definitely going to be a huge impact towards that bot lane, Ezreal only being able to get that Sapphire Crystal.
Top lane seems to be pushing in quite well. Shen, I don't know if that's a great spot to have the wave, but that's where it is. Olaf is hovering top side, and Echo is clearing on the bottom side. I wouldn't have mind seeing a play towards Dragon in the next couple minutes here, just before the Rift Herald spawns.
Yeah, it looks like Rakan is roaming towards the mid. They do get spotted out by a control ward. Just take it out, go back to farming those wolves. Just trying to keep as much pressure in the lanes as possible. Shen shoving that wave does deny himself quite a lot of XP and CS, so he will have a bit harder of a time getting to those item spikes.
And a slow push was starting to go up on the top lane, meaning that Shen's going to have a much harder time trading overall. I'm definitely happy with the Jax pick into the Shen, as it's going to scale quite well into the late game with the Shen.
Yeah, Jax applies a lot of pressure in a team fight, especially with that counter-strike. If he gets 2 or 3 members in the stun, then that could easily turn a fight with the Rupture at a Cho'Gath, and then the Senna ultimate coming through. It'll be quite hard to take down the blue side if they do get a lead.
And again, we're seeing the power of Tristana shoving in the mid wave and just roaming. Unfortunately, Tristana does go down in that engagement. Conquer Olaf really just putting in work. Very unfortunate for red side, but they do get the return kill on the Echo, who is stacking Dark Harvest with that kill.
But in that trade, there were 2 flashes blown on the blue side compared to only 1 of the red side, so they do come out with a slight advantage there. But that Cho'Gath getting that stack off of the Gobble definitely can hurt quite a bit in the mid to late game.
I definitely want to see another gank coming for the red side on the bot lane, just because the Ezreal and the Senna both are down summoners, and it'd be a very easy regank into a dragon rotation.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this Echo paths. Most likely just trying to wait until the bot lane hits 6, make sure that Rakan has that charm, just so they can constantly chain the CC. But we'll just have to see, now that Shen is level 6, we will have to take into account that.
I was just about to bring that up. Now that Shen is level 6, he's online and able to impact the map quite a bit, as well as it seems like Jax is kind of getting a freeze into the Shen, so I'd like to see him try to impact the map while he is kind of locked out from the CS.
Yeah, the Shen will have to play safe and walk away to use the ultimate, because Jax with that Counter-Strike can deny the entrance from Shen, but the shield will still go through. And as we saw there, a gank in the mid lane from the blue side blows Tristana's flash, a huge trade coming in there on the top side.
It also blew Tristana's ultimate, which is another big peel tool for herself as well as the rest of her team.
Yeah, we're going to have to see exactly how this plays out. Cho'Gath still keeping up in CS to the Tristana. Quite a surprising thing there.
One thing I want to keep note of is how fast the teams are willing to rotate for this Rift Herald. It is 8 minutes, so the Rift Herald is up, and it is a quite powerful objective to take early on, especially to rip through those tower plates.
Yeah, both junglers being on the top side. Shen does have ultimate and teleport available. Not exactly in the greatest spot. Phage to just a chainmail, or chain vest, sorry.
I don't think it's too much of an issue just yet. I actually wouldn't have mind seeing the Ninja Tab I buy come in instead of the Chain Vest, just because Jax does auto attack a lot, and it would negate overall more damage than what the Chain Vest negates.
Yeah, and that move speed extra from the tier 2 boots would be quite helpful in order to get back to that lane and keep.
Oh, we have a gank coming in mid lane. Tristana going in, Echo landing his W, and the explosive shot from the Tristana actually finishing off the kill quite easily. Which, that's an easy kill. Actually, that went over to Echo. That's an easy kill over to the Echo.
Yeah, and here we see red side just shoving in the bot lane, most likely looking to recall, try getting perhaps like an Essence Reaver finished here for the Xayah. And wait, they're transitioning to the Dragon.
Which is what we like to see. Red team taking the Dragon. Unfortunately, we did not see that. Rakan helping out with the Scuttle Crab a little bit, but it seems like they want to rotate mid almost immediately. Rift Herald was taken by the blue team and is now barreling down mid lane with it. Fight comes through on the bot side of mid lane, and red side is easily able to clean that up and shove mid wave. Honestly, I think that was a poor Rift Herald usage. I feel like they were definitely desperate for any play to happen since they were giving over Dragon, but I don't think they needed to make that desperation play that early.
Yeah, no, it looked like no one even got the plating gold there, to be honest. I don't think anyone was in range to take it once the Herald charged in.
They still had another like 3 minutes on that Herald. I wouldn't have mind seeing pressure going top wave with the Cho'Gath shoving in mid lane as hard as he can, and seeing if they can maybe 3-man top and take more than just 2 tower plating overall. Yeah. Jax TPing in with the Counter-Strike up. Shen ultimate does come in. It's a little bit late. Xayah using her feathers, setting up properly. Grand entrance missing, and Jax jumping in with Leap Strike, killing the Rakan.
Yeah, that was very questionable there by Rakan going in. Not exactly safe to do so with that low of health.
And the fight is still going with Jax jumping in. Seems like he wanted to set up, and the feather, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But Xayah's Q, her feather dagger, is going to finish off the kill on Jax, and Echo going to be looking to clean up 2 kills here onto the blue side bot lane of Ezreal.
Yeah, Senna just barely getting away there. We're going to see a lot of pressure coming in on this bot tower. Olaf here to try and soak up this wave, maybe kill the Xayah.
Going very hard on the Xayah here. Feathers not being able to set up properly. Olaf unstoppable in his ultimate, making it very hard for him to... impossible for him to be CC'd, and he's actually going to clean up quite a few kills, and blue side's going to be cleaning up all the members of red side until Rakan and Tristana jump in, and Olaf is going to get cleaned up quite easily by the Tristana here.
Yeah, that was a well-tried play in the bot side there to try cleaning up a messy fight, but in the end, the red side just recollapsed with Rakan coming back with Tristana and just unsure of where that was going to go.
I think overall it was an okay play to make. Olaf getting a little bit of extra gold under his belt. Definitely going to be useful later on in these fights.
Yeah, he's already got that warrior working towards that black cleaver, looking to just stick to a backline target. And with that extra cooldown reduction, it's going to be pretty difficult, especially if they start stacking some dragons like Ocean.
For sure. For the next couple minutes, I'm not expecting too much action. It's probably just gonna be farming it out, unless they are going to contest this red buff here. Definitely wouldn't mind seeing a fight here. Olaf is down his ultimate, so it is going to be quite an easy fight for the red side to take. Olaf flashing out, can they follow?
It doesn't look like they can. Olaf running towards the Senate gets the heal, just walks away barely within an inch of his life.
Echo still re-engaging. There are 3 low members of blue side around tier 1 tower. Very easy to clean up. Xayah picking up both those kills.
Yeah, that's a big bird with that 5, 1, and 2.
And they're going to be able to pick up quite a few tower plating as well on the side.
Yeah, we will be seeing that bot tower go down fairly quickly here with Echo staying around. 2 plates left.
2 plates left, and now it's 1. But mid lane is still getting quite a good shove in. I'm actually curious on how many tower plating Tristana has managed to take. First tower is going to go down on the bot side for the red team, and that's going to net them a 4k gold lead.
Yeah, that is a huge amount of gold, especially with most of that being onto your 80 carry Xayah.
As well as the Echo. Like we were saying before, I think that the red team scales quite hard, and their goal should be team fighting in this late game. I'm slightly curious as to how the blue team is going to plan their comeback.
Yeah, they have to play definitely around their top and mid right now because their bot lane is just struggling. Echo getting caught out in the blue side jungle does get away though.
Very slippery champion. Very hard to keep down. He got a shield on his W, zoning them from chasing as well. Olaf, there's a fight mid. I did not see what happened there. Tristana seems to have gone down. Olaf ultimate was blown, so I'm expecting something to do with that. And I guess True Shot Barrage also being used.
Yeah, it looks like they just collapsed on the mid lane. Tristana not really respecting that Ragnarok, so does get taken down.
I'm expecting what blue team should be doing right now is grouping for dragon, since they do have that mid lane priority as well as the man advantage. I say man advantage, but Shen also has his ultimate ready and teleport ready, and Jax has no teleport ready.
Yeah, it looks like they're just wanting to pressure this mid lane, try getting that vision control down. Jax trying to shove in top lane, deny Shen any way of accessing the fight without losing a lot of pressure.
And it seems like there's just like a dance going around the dragon right now. It's a very typical dance, what we see quite often in these games, where both teams don't want to give up the objective. And I guess we'll see what's going on. Jax is backing. I wonder if he's going to walk straight to... Nope, I guess he's staying in lane. I'd be happy with him going straight to the dragon here, but it seems like Olaf is doing the Rift Herald, in fact. I'd be okay with them trading objectives even, as long as they're using the Rift Herald better than what they used it for last time, which they didn't really get any value out of, like we were talking about before.
Yeah, they got 2 plates off of it, most like at max, but no one was around to collect the gold the last time, so we'll have to see how they use it this time. He is rotating towards the top lane, most likely looking to drop it there and shove Shen back towards his tier 2.
Getting Jax snowballed actually wouldn't be a horrible idea this game, especially because they do have the side lane advantage. The only person able to contest a Jax in the side lane would be Echo, and even then Jax is just a very strong split pusher. Red team easily going to be able to pick up the dragon.
Yeah, well, they did drop the Herald top lane. They are chasing down the Shen, just looking to chunk him out. He is a pretty big boy going towards that Sunfire, quite tanky, so it will be hard to take him down, but the Herald does get the second charge off.
I think we are going to see maybe tier 2 going down, not quite. I guess we are looking towards... I don't actually know what we're looking towards. There should be no fight going down right now. There's no objective up. Seems like blue team is running for their lives, though.
Yeah, Rakan looking to engage here with that Grand Entrance and Charm. Doesn't hit anything.
Ragnarok actually being used to block out the Rakan engage.
Yeah, so that ultimate being down will mean there won't be as many fights breaking out from the blue side. Not looking to really do a whole lot without that Ragnarok. Just looking to reset, use their gold, and try getting Jax even further ahead.
I definitely don't mind the use of Herald this time. They got a good advantage for Jax as well as tier 2 tower lower. It put not Jax, Shen even farther behind. A 60 CS lead actually made up by the Jax early on in this game. That's going to be very telling to how the side lane is going to be going. Jax basically with a 3-kill advantage over the Shen.
Yeah, and if we look at the itemization from Senna, going with that Umbral Blade, looking to deny as much vision as possible, as quickly as possible. Rakan looking for the engage here in the top side. This for sure will be a dead Jax.
Grand entrance into the feather pull, stun locking the Jax into not being really able to do anything in the entire fight. And I guess he just kind of overstayed, to be honest. Mid lane was looking to roam down, still looking to roam down. Top lane tower going down. Shen and Tristana in the bot lane, possibly looking for the Senna Ezreal. While the red side on the top lane is pushing in the second side wave. Both side waves being pushed in for the red side.
Yeah, pushing in that tier 2 top, forcing Cho'Gath to answer. Olaf going to mid to try and shove that wave in, bring them back towards mid, try evening out the pressure. But red side calls them on that bluff and just looks to take away his jungle.
Blue buff going down quite easy. Oh, the re-engage onto the Cho'Gath, and he is a dead Cho'Gath. Grand entrance knocking him up, and that's just the end of him.
Yeah, at this point, the blue side needs to ward their own jungle. As difficult as that is, you have to do it at this point. Tristana is getting caught out there, though.
I would have liked
Shen
to see
not far behind.
I would have liked to see the Tristana jumping over the wall to get it to safety, the same way the Shen taunted over the wall. I think it was a slight misplay, but it was a very good play by the blue side to pick up a kill after trading for Cho'Gath on the top side.
Yeah, and here we see them already pressuring the top inhibitor tower at 19.5 minutes.
Forcing that Jax to use his TP, a very long cooldown, 6 minutes. And looks like the red team's just going to reset.
Yeah, at this point, what they need to do is have Senna go into the side of the jungle where they're going to put pressure, most likely being the top side with that Baron coming up in about 10 seconds, needing to get that vision in their own jungle. They cannot afford to be caught out there anymore, because then that will easily transition into that top inhibitor tower.
I definitely would not have minded seeing the blue side go for that vision onto the Baron, since red team is going to be looking to clear that out sooner or later. Baron, it's a very hard objective to take right now, very tanky, and it's very risky to take early on, but I think red team might have a big enough lead to where they might be able to force it. That being said, the Jax, again, has doubled the CS of his counterpart, and he's going to be very big.
Yeah, sitting on that Triforce, working towards what's most likely going to be a Sterak's Gauge, then he's definitely going to be something to deal with in that mid to late game. He's going to definitely want to be split pushing, but Shen doesn't exactly need too many resources to do what Shen does with his ultimate and then going for the taunt engage. But here we see a quick little trade coming in there from the Echo. Olaf coming to chase him down a little bit.
And that's the power of Glacial Augment. I wouldn't have minded the Cho'Gath to stick around and maybe hit him with a second Glacial Augment, since Echo did go through his entire kit, and see if they can maybe force out the ultimate there.
And Rakan, almost getting caught out, uses the Grand Entrance to dodge away from the counter-strike.
Zai just picking up a red buff real quick. She is a very, very strong AD carry.
Yeah, speaking of which, back to the topic of Baron, they do happen to have a pretty strong Tristana and Xayah, both of which have pretty good damage towards that Baron. Tristana having that Blade of the Ruin King, and Xayah having the Infinity Edge Essence Reaver completed.
Very true, but we're going to go back to that Dragon Dance. I'm very curious to see how this team fight is going to play out. It's very hard for the Rakan to engage into an Olaf because of Ragnarok, and he seems to just be going all in on that. Red team thinks that they're ahead enough to just force a fight.
Senna forced a flash out. Olaf does get taken down, but 2 in return for that fight. Cho'Gath going with the flash and misses the rupture, and that is now a 2 for 3.
Tristana seems like she's trying to clean up the back of the fight easily enough. All of blue team is going to go down. They're going to get aced, and Dragon is going over to the red side. No problems. I still wouldn't mind a rotation over to Baron, but it might be a little bit riskier than what the red team wants to do right now, which might just be take tier 2 and then reset for their items, and they can force around Baron, ward up, and then get ready to go.
Yeah, with no Shen, it is quite difficult to take that Baron. No one tanky enough to exactly take all that damage and deal with the damage debuff that it does bring.
Another thing to keep in mind is red side is on Dragon Point, which means the next dragon they get is going to be the Soul, and that is the Earth Soul, which gives a small shield whenever you're out of combat. Very powerful.
Yeah, that shield could easily turn the tides of the game due to the fact that they will be a lot more difficult to burst out, and that Shen definitely will be a lot tankier. But here we see the Shen ultimate use, Ragnarok coming in, doesn't exactly follow through. Tristana jumping into the Olaf.
Jumping in and cleaning up the Cho'Gath and jumping away from the Olaf. Can she make it out? No, she cannot.
Although it was a 1-for-1 trade, not exactly sure if it was the most worth jump in there, giving another kill to the Olaf.
And I think that giving over kills and trading 1-for-1 for the red side right now isn't what they want to be doing. They are so far ahead that I would like to see them just play smarter and more grouped, because they can force anything they want right now. They can force Baron, they can force towers. Honestly, they might even be able to tower dive. But trading 1-for-1, that's exactly what the blue side wants. They want to slowly creep back into this game. They want to lower the gold differential.
Yeah, Olaf is in his top side there. No one really there to help him out. If he does get caught out here, Ragnarok is just now coming up. If they happen to blow that cooldown, Baron could definitely be an option.
I 100% agree with that. Red side just farming it out right now. Farming it out with the blue side. Looks like they're going to be setting up around Baron now. I want to see some more wards come down for both teams, to be honest. I definitely think they need to start getting vision around that objective. And Jax is split pushing quietly in the bot lane without TP, might I add.
Yeah, Jax being down there without teleport does bring Shen down there, but we do have to note Shen does have teleport to answer if there is a fight to break out.
For sure. And I don't really want to see the red team they either want to commit now or they want to commit as the Shen has his ultimate back up, since that will give a big team fight advantage to the red team.
Yeah, they're looking to pick out Senna. Senna is caught out.
Senna can't not be walking there without the rest of her team. She's way too squishy on her own, and she requires an escort. Any support requires an escort this late into the game when you're walking into an unwarded jungle, and that's just sloppy gameplay. Red team is going to go for a quick Baron.
Yeah, Tristana running point guard there, trying to flank behind this Olaf. They're looking to pick him off. He does have Ragnarok, so they can't get a clean engage here.
Ragnarok being used. Olaf is running in 1 versus 5, though. I don't know exactly what he's expecting to get done. Tristana jumping into the fight onto the Ezreal. And Cho'Gath is back at the pit, running away now, however. Red team does pick up the Baron, and I think they're probably just going to start barreling down mid or barreling down a side lane.
Yeah, Tristana chasing that Ezreal, forcing him away from the wave, just looking to shove this in with Rakan. They have quite a huge advantage now with that Baron. Not a whole lot of wave clear coming out of the blue side.
Very true. They also have, or the red side, I should say, has a lot of tower pressure, and I kind of want to see them use that pressure in the siege. Xayah seems to be resetting. The rest of the team following suit with the reset. They're probably looking to buy last-minute items before they decide to try to break that base.
Yeah, and a huge purchase coming in from the Xayah with that Quicksilver Sash. If they ever happen to get caught out by a Counter-Strike or by a center route, they can easily just disengage that and look to continue fighting.
And we have Dragon coming up soon. It seems like the red team does have quite a few win conditions, not only with their Baron buff currently active, but also with the Dragon Soul coming up. Dragon Soul being extremely powerful in the trade-off that the other dragons aren't as powerful in the early game.
Yeah, And the soul now being up, Echo looking to get that vision cleared out of the dragon pit. They are going to be looking to fight here as soon as that dragon spawns.
Very much so, and I would expect the dance to commence quite soon. Vision control needs to come down from the blue team. Tristana is sitting in the bot side, probably just going to push that in real quick and group with her team, and the rest of the red team's pretty grouped. I don't know how the blue team is going to be taking a head-on fight versus red team when they're so far ahead. Nearly 8k gold.
Yeah, at this point, their main saving grace is just trying to turtle up, farm it out, try getting as much gold onto their Jax as they can, and just let him start split pushing.
And Dragon is started up. Jax going in to try to steal the Dragon. Unfortunately, he cannot. The charm coming in from Rakan and the Grand Entrance running away with his E. Olaf Ragnaroking in. Tristana jumps straight into the enemy team and is executed.
Yeah, that's a bad case of Lee syndrome there.
Very true. Echo picking up the after fight kill. Grand Entrance just barely missing but forcing out the Olaf flash. And Ezreal going down.
Yeah, even with that sloppy rocket jump into the middle of 5, red side still able to clean it all up in the end.
Echo doing very well with his Dark Harvest stacks. Let's just check in on those real quick. 17. Very strong. If he ever gets below half HP, you're probably just dead versus this Echo.
Yeah, he doesn't even have that Lich Bane to make it so when he dives in, he does a lot more damage. That Morello is quite a huge pickup, especially against something like the Olaf, like the Senna, and that's just going to deny all the healing possible.
Very much so. Inhibitor going down on the bot side, and they seem to be pushing in mid lane for the siege. Blue team really needs to make something happen here, whether that just be through a pick, which is very hard since they have a Shen, and they're not strong enough to stay in the side lane. Their win condition kind of went out the drain very early on when they can't play their 1-3, 1-3-1, 1-4 comps, and the red team just gets to play out their team fight.
Yeah, the one thing I do want to question, though, the Trinity Force and Black Cleaver on Jax.
Very interesting buy considering that the Cleaver and the Trinity Force don't stack. So buying two, he's basically wasting 1,250 gold on one of those items just because the Phage passive doesn't stack.
Yeah, it would have been much more beneficial to go for something like a Sterax just to make it so when he engages, he isn't blown up instantly.
I agree with the Sterig's buy. Sterig's maybe, yeah. Anything other than the Black Cleaver, to be honest. I think that's pretty troll.
Yeah, it's kind of questionable to say the least, because, as you said, that's a waste of quite a lot of gold that you could have been spending on something that would be a lot more beneficial towards your champion.
And Echo actually going in on the Senna. I'm pretty sure she was forced to use Flash. Our directed camera didn't exactly pick that up, but she did have to use Flash. It is on cooldown. The red team should look to force mid and maybe a fight here even with the Grand Entrance being so strong. Xayah going in and the Grand Entrance with the Rakan charm. Easy taunt onto the Ezreal and he's going to go down. The Echo is grabbing his stun, and Tristana rocket jumping into the back line.
All they have to do at this point is just escort that wave in mid. They have a wave top lane and a wave of supers bot, and this could be all she wrote.
That is a 3-0 fight, and I'm pretty sure that is going to wrap up our first game of the day. Red team barreling down mid lane and just leaving no survivors.
Yeah, there was not really a whole lot to happen for the blue side after they kind of lost their early win condition of get at least mid lane some sort of pressure for him to roam. And that is GG, your mom Big Plane, taking the win.
Your mom Big Plane playing very well throughout the game. A couple mistakes with getting picked. Nothing too major that would have lost them the game.
Now we'll just have to see how blue side bounces back from this defeat, regroup, reassociate, and try figuring out what went wrong and how to fix it.
If we're looking at the damage charts, Olaf was carrying the damage for the blue team. Unfortunately, he didn't really have much backup, and like we were saying in the starting of the game, there was nothing really to follow up with the Olaf. He just kind of ran in, and without his armor and magic resist, he kind of just dies.
Yeah, definitely in draft they did have the slightly weaker composition. They had to play it out a exact way for it to work, and they just didn't make that win condition happen. They had no follow-up engage for when Olaf runs in, and there was just no way to deal with that Xayah and Tristana.
Very true. And as we can see, the Xayah and Tristana did exactly what they needed to do, deal a shit ton of damage. And I think the Echo played very well as well. He got some very high priority stuns onto the backline of the enemy carries.
Yeah, that was a very well played jungle game by that Echo, constantly pressuring the Olaf, taking away as much as he could in terms of opportunities.